Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is, and Starlight just got done eating, so I will be heading out right after this video. So anyway, I love you so much, and thank you for the new subscribers on my YouTube channel. Woohoo! And I can't forget about the ones that have been there from day one all the way to now. Yay for you guys that have been there holding the fort down. And also, thank you for being here, watching my videos, giving me thumbs up, sharing my videos, and leaving me a message. So I really appreciate all you, and I hope you're being kind to yourself and others. It is so vitally important, you know. So besides that, is if you want to send Starlight a message or reach out to me on Instagram, you can, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, if anyone would love to send any love donations, because Starlight's birthday is going to be coming up. I will be turning 55, and I'm just getting a year younger this year, just like every year. So anyway, I love you all, and you could do that on my Cash App if you want to send any love to Starlight, and I will have the information here. Ping. So anyway, right now I am out here with my geesey friends. So we just got done eating. We're one big family out here. So anyway, this video is for people, because I meet a lot of different types of people going through different kind of things. And what side are you on? You know, there's some people, they don't understand, you know. They bounce back and forth. Sometimes they do good things, sometimes they do really naughty things. And you know, just like if there's a little angel here and a little devil here, what, you know, you can't serve two masters is what this is. But there's a lot of people that in the world, they're not even aware that they are serving two masters. So you can't serve two masters. That's what it says in the Bible. You will either love the one or despise the other. So which side are you choosing? You know, you know, and we all have that in us, you know. We it's up to us. The one that you feed the most, you know, that's the one that's going to get bigger and stronger, you know. So you really gotta make up your mind. Like if there's a fork in the road, you know, the devil's way or God's way, you can't ride both sides, you know. I am working so hard on myself, and I've been doing this my whole life, but especially from like 2016, 17, 8, and it just, I mean, as I go through, I work even harder on myself, because you got to have that momentum, you know, and you got to discipline yourself. And like tonight, Starlight's so proud of herself. Woohoo, Starlight! I am so proud of myself, because you know what? We all have things that can pull us back. But I am so proud of myself, because I went through a park tonight, and they have a fair going on there. And I didn't know they were going to have that this weekend. I heard that they were going to have that. But ta-da! And I was at the other park while they were having the fair at the other park. You only could see bits and pieces from the one park, you know, where they were having the fair, and you can hear the music, you know, it travels. And so I had bottles that I had to bring, and I had to go through the fair area to get to dropping those bottles off, because I help homeless people, you know. I don't throw my recycling water bottles, you know. I let, you know, let somebody take mine. That way they don't have to, I mean, if they go pick in the garbage, you're going to pick in the garbage. But I really didn't want to put mine in there because I was helping other people and then they disappeared. So I kind of got in the habit of doing that. And they had the music that Starlight used to love. But you know what? I know what path I'm going on. And like the video that I didn't upload yet is there's nothing going, there's nothing to go back to. I'm not going back. And I'm so proud of myself because, man, that's a test. And that is what, I talked to somebody out here last night for a couple hours, and they're going through some shit. And so I got to talk to them and I realized, wow, because they don't know is that they're putting others before others. I mean, they're putting others before themselves by going out and doing stuff to help them out, and they got in trouble. And I said, you know what? You got to take care of your own ass right now. You can't help those people until you. So there's many times that some people, they say they hear voices in their head, and I'm just going to explain that. At first I didn't know what that meant when I was talking to somebody, and I don't really call that hearing voices in my head. I think that's just have you ever had anybody that asked you, hey, do you hear voices? No, I have thoughts, like I could have a thought in my head that says, what am I going to do after this? But that's not, to me, that's not voices in my head, but I have known people that did hear voices. And those voices were telling them to do some pretty funky, nasty stuff. And so you have to decide, like a fork in the road, what side, we're going to say, I'm going to say the left is the angel and the right is the devil, you can't pick, like, how can you do that, because but many people do, and they're not even aware of it. Even people that claim that they are Christians and go to church, there's people that are serving another master and they're not even aware of it. Like when you go to work and you're getting treated like shit and you keep going, you're miserable, you're not happy with anything there. Well, you're not claiming your power and you're giving your power over. You're letting that person control you. It's like you're serving that it's a lot of things are an illusion, is that you're tested all the time and you got to decide, that's why, no, I'm not going to work for you. And I'm so proud of this lady that, it takes stepping stones to go through these things, when people quit jobs because they don't like seeing how people are getting treated at their job, or how they're being treated, how they're not going by the laws, and, like you're supposed to get a break, right, after so many hours, but, you're not getting a break, So there's times that people serve other gods, like even people that go to church, and it's a big freaking thing for Starlight, is at Christmas time and the holidays, they're serving two masters. But they don't think so. There's a lot of churches that are going that way these days, They're going to the ways of the world. And so wintertime, Starlight always has to make like a Santa Claus video, because, I know what it's like being lied to and deceived, when you're supposed to trust somebody and they lie to you and they just go along with what everybody else is doing. And that's when you're giving your power and you're serving, it's not easy. You got to be disciplined and really know what road, what path are you taking? You can't take, if there's a fork in the road, left or right. So there's a lot of people, they're going to have a lot of surprises later on. They could go to church, punch the clock in every Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday morning, Sunday night, maybe Wednesday night. Maybe they go out even on Saturdays to, knock on doors. Maybe they even read their Bible. But they're playing two different roles. And this is why a lot of people don't want nothing to do with going to church, because they see how there's a lot of hypocrisy. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but a lot of hypocrites going there. It would be, you have a free will to do whatever you want. And I recently had somebody, just kind of throwing the Bible stuff at me all the time, and Bible this, Bible that, and Bible that. I'm free from all that stuff. When I say that, that means I know that I'm not here to be perfect. I tried so hard to be perfect, and I realized it doesn't exist, So there's a lot of people faking it out in the world. Like I said, they go to church, they punch the clock in. But then when Christmas time comes, out with the Santa Claus, and there's a lot of different history about the Santa Claus and the Christmas tree, even the Easter bunny and the Easter eggs. And really, I don't go to church, but I believe if people are going to go to church, the Easter bunny needs to go bye-bye somewhere, Bye-bye Easter bunny rabbit, because that's not really, but there's people out there, they will say whatever they want to pull you into that kind of thing, where now it's about candy and chocolate and an Easter bunny, little chicks, and it really takes away really what it's about. And, so it's all, people are serving two masters and they're not even aware of it. Like going to church and acting like an angel, and then on the weekend partying your ass off. You can do that. Yeah, you could do that. But you're only, you might think you could fool other people, and you might, but you're not fooling yourself, and God sees right through that shit. You can't fool God. It's the straight and narrow or the wide way, it's the choice is yours. You can't, it's like, heaven or hell, which, so you have to be strong. And there's so many reasons why people fail, because they're listening to other people, they're hanging around the wrong kind of people, spending time with people that are getting in trouble all the time, going around and drinking and smoking and all that stuff, and then wonder, they're not, there's a lot of fakeness out in this world, and it's sad. A lot of fakeness, a lot of people putting on a Christian costume, but there's bits and pieces where people see them at different areas, and there's a verse in the Bible, I think, the eyes of the Lord are everywhere, so everything is being watched, whether there's a camera or not. The animals, crows are very observant. They see shit, you might not think they see, A lot of people, they think they're fooling people by living that living two different lives in one body. You have to pick. What side are you, what side do you want, You want to live like the devil? Play with the devil, Go at, and there used to be a place called the Devil's Playground. Or do you want to, live a pure and clean life, and putting love out to the world? You gotta pick one. Not saying that, like Starlight is here putting love out in the world, helping people. That's the road I choose, the straight and narrow. Does it mean I'm perfect? No. I've been purifying myself, though, cleansing myself, getting rid of things, getting rid of people that are not, they weren't there, you know? It's a painful journey. It really is a discovery of who the fuck you really are, down to the deep core of who you really are. No pretending, but there's a lot of people that are. So I hope you really get a lot of help. It's getting dark here. And what path are you taking? The wide way or the narrow? You can't blame shit on anybody. You can't blame it on your parents, what they did or didn't do, right? It's not always what they did. Sometimes it's what they didn't effing do. You can't blame it on your brothers and sisters of anything that happened a long time ago, why you are the way you are. I used to believe that, believe me. I am this way because of what the, you know, if they didn't do this, you know, and it just kept on going. But no, it's all how you respond. It's up to you. We all have a choice. The clock is ticking. You don't have much time because shit is going to hit the fan. And the ones that are in the fifth dimension of love vibration, they're not going to have a problem. It's the ones that are afraid and not trusting, and they listen to everybody and they just go with the way of the wind, you know, of the world, and they get pulled to and fro, you know, with what is going on around them. You know, the matrix, the crowd is the matrix. So, you know, it's not an easy journey, but you have to decide on which way you're going. Nobody else can. You're the one in charge of your life, and you got to be the one to claim it and really know what you desire in this reality. So anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight, and namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.